Hello, dear friends. This is Cardiac Radio at 11 p.m. Nourishing our souls together. And we're nourishing our souls with Meimei, our dear and beloved educator Meimei, through Chico Xavier in the book Deus Aguarda, God Awaits, written through Chico Xavier, of course, psychographed mediumistically, right? 1980, and this book is so current because the book brings to us the feeling. It's all about feeling the scriptures, feeling the good. It's not only about knowing, but she gives us clear tips on what to do. She gives us true exercises so we can practice in our daily lives the teachings. And it's really a blessing. It's deeply transformative because Meimei brings to us let's go back. If I go back to the preface, right, that was written, she clearly, and Emmanuel, of course, wrote the preface. For us, Meimei here is talking about ourselves in life. She's training us to put God at the center of our lives. She is always boosting our altruistic nature, which is the best of us. She goes from something for others, about compassion, collaboration, the hopes of others, talking about children, little hands, and wherever we go, blessing always. So Meimei, uniquely, I would say, if we could analyze how she writes, we would say, we observe that Meimei writes to coach us to be more altruistic. It's the highest teaching of all times, because altruism is when we put the needs of others before our own. Okay? For example, a mother, a good one, huh? You are hungry, but your child is hungry. What do? Do you eat first, or do you give, or do you feed your child? An altruistic one would feed the child first and then eat. It doesn't need to be your child. It can be a partner. It can be people like Jesus. Did you know? Humberto de Campos describes to us, as well as Neo Lúcio, that Jesus, whenever there was a meal together, he would be the one serving the bread. And remember, there was no knife at the time, so he would literally break it apart, which actually says etiquette, that the right way to go is really to break it down in pieces with your hands, and he would serve people first and then he would eat. This is our Master Jesus. And then, of course, Meimei is teaching us to pay attention to others. In neuroscience, we know that this area of our brain, the temporal area, a specific part of our cortex, is more specifically, let's say, highlighted, right? Activated when we feel altruistic. It's almost as if we have antenna, okay, to pay attention to people's needs. There are people who are still dormant in that regard. But the question is, where are we? Meimei is boosting that sense of, what about others' needs? What about others' needs? And that's a good exercise for us to boost the altruistic nature. So, yes, also they saying Chico Xavier used to do that too. You are right. So, Chico Xavier loved to feed people, help people, and he would always put himself last. Now, there is another thing for parents and educators. As the spirit mentors, and especially Mentor Joseph often says to us, the more you remind your children, oh, but my child is so evolved. Okay, now they are reincarnated, you just need to remind or be on the same page. So you're eating, they look at a plate. I don't want that. Okay. And then we say, let's breathe in and now begin anew. Okay. Plate, thank you very much. God bless this plate. God bless the ones who prepared this plate with so much love. The fact that I can eat it. What is good in this plate, huh? Before we dismiss it. Oh, but I don't like the carrot touching the coyote or the spinach, whatever. And then, okay. So God forbid the carrot touching the spinach, right? Children, they come to a certain age when they are that peculiar, which is fine. But then we understand, but at the same time we say, oh my, what if it's the last food we can eat and we don't know what's going to come next? It's the most delicious meal. Thank you very much. So let us find a way, always reminding ourselves to bless, like we did in the past 24 hours. Keep on blessing. Keep on blessing. Today, she's going to give us the final message in this book. Yeah, it's the last chapter of this book. God awaits. Deus aguarda. Chapter 20 is titled, okay? Let me see, because I messed up there. Touch of Light. Oh my God. Touch of Light. Is it about healing? Let's see. You ready? I'm ready to welcome, dear friends, to this moment as God awaits with Meimei. She discloses to us another lesson on feeling the good. Touch of light. Perhaps you have not yet noticed the amount of people who in broad daylight move about with a shadow over their soul. Observe. See? She's asking us, she's training us to pay attention to people's needs, to understand. So first thing, observe. As you talk with them, you will perceive that they are psychologically far away. And you thought you were the only one talking to people and people were not present, not mindful. Remember, she wrote this in 1980 when the term mindfulness was not mainstream yet and not even in, of course, in Portuguese. So she talks about people being psychologically far away. In modern words, they are not mindful. As a matter of fact, sometimes their words are not just monosyllabic in tone, but also come out harshly aggressive. Sounds like what we hear in Twitter almost every day. Put yourself in their position and remember that on many occasions on earth, we all feel torn between showing appreciation we owe others and the suffering we carry within us. A somber night in your soul stems from various causes. In some people, it comes from pessimism with which they reject the trials that are required of them. Oh my gosh. In others, it arises from the conflict sustained within themselves. You will have friendly people who listen to you out of courtesy, but they carry feelings of unrelenting tribulations. And you'll be surprised about others who answer you to this or that proposal without the slightest perception of the matters to which you're concerned about, since they are completely turned in to their own despair. Sometimes such companions, broken in pain within themselves, remain around your network. They will probably be among those you love the most. When you find yourself in front of such desolate beings who make an effort to conceal their distress, do not open their wound with unnecessary questions and remarks. Listen to their confidences in silence when you cannot give them a phrase of hope and comfort. In whatever type of trials they face, offer them a gesture of friendship and understanding, adding the blessing of a smile, because to dispel the shadows of a tormented heart, many times all you need is a smile of sympathy that will always be a touch of light. Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. Where there are clouds in the sky, you get by. Before we go there, now, this is just a break between the reading and what we need to know, right? The song is last, but it will come. We will sing it together because that's the exercise. She says it's a touch of light. Who wants a touch of light? Raise your hand. Hopefully everybody is raising their hands, right? We are. We want a touch of light. So, ta-da, smile. But before we go there, go back. First thing she says to us, she says, well, she talks about perception. She says, perhaps you don't know or you may not have noticed. So she's saying, boost your senses of observation. So we need to be perceptive. We won't do well in our relationships if we just feel it's gonna happen just like that, as a miracle. No, there are many people who come across others and they're like, it works or doesn't work. No. Relationships require labor. We need to work on them. The relationship with ourselves, the relationship with other people, even our relationship with God. God doesn't need to work on us, but He does. So shall we? To boost our understanding. How so? What's on the behind the scenes? Why is it that we talk to people, they are not there? Or if they are harsh, aggressive. And we're like, why? We just said that and then boom. What's happening on the behind the scenes of their hearts? We want to know? So let's go back, because as a wonderful educator of the mind, of the human mind, Meimei explains to us that these shadows that come in people's minds may have many causes. One of the causes, pessimism. The person is pessimistic. Why? Because they reject the trials that are required of them. So God is telling them, sit still. And they're like, I don't want to sit still. You come talk to them, they're like, do you want to have dinner? They're like, what did I do? You may ask, right? What did I do? No, you did nothing, Meimei is saying. It's not about you. That's why in the 4 agreements, right? The 4 agreements, that book, it says to us, don't take it personal, which is very hard. We usually take it personal. So let us rewind the tape. God is saying to the person, sit still. I'm just figuratively speaking. And then the person's like, I don't want to sit still. And then you come Do you want to have dinner? And the person's like, doesn't talk to you. And you're like, what did I do? It's not about you. You see, it's between them and God, as Mother Teresa says. Don Miguel Ruiz, the author of the book of Four Agreements, is so right. As Mother Teresa is right, Spiritism, Meimei, it's not about you, it's about them. They are the way they are because they are pessimistic. Others, she says, they have conflicts inside of them. They are there thinking. I'll give an example. Should I stay at this work or should I leave? And that's eating them up from inside, from within. And then you call them. Hey, hello, how are you? How about going to the movie theater to watch Kardec's movie? I don't want to know anything about Kardec now. Oh, but I'll talk to you later. And then you hang up and you may think, what did I do wrong? Maybe they don't like Kardec. Or maybe they're frustrated. No, don't say anything. It's something between them and God. They have conflicts inside of them. Really, literally, it's like that. It is like that. It is inside of them. And she says, some people, third type, will listen to you out of courtesy, but they have unrelenting tribulations inside of them. And then they answer to you without even knowing what they're saying. They're completely turned into their despair. It's like parents who come from work and then children say, Mom, look, I'm jumping the rope 10 times in a row without stopping. And you're thinking of your proposal, the grant, the sales, whatever it is. And you're like, oh, yeah. And the child notices that you're not there. You didn't even pay attention. But why? Because of unrelenting tribulations inside. Don't know how to pay the bills. Don't know what you're going to do because you've come to know of a difficult diagnosis. And you're like, how am I going to break it down? Or whatever situation is, something in the family, and the tribulations are eating that person up. You come their way, sometimes your boss, your employee, a friend at a spiritist center, and they don't come out as you expect. Meimei is saying, understand that it's not about you, it's something inside of them. Unrelenting tribulation. So, case number 1, the pessimistic person who doesn't want to surrender to God's will. Number 2, as she says, conflicted person. Number 3, the person who is under unrelenting tribulations. And she says, sometimes people who are suffering deeply, broken in pain, and they may be around loved ones of others. Sometimes it's a colleague of your son, of your daughter, who, for example, doesn't have a mother because she died, and then she is hurting, and it's the friend of your son or of your daughter, or is married to your son or your daughter, or is your mother-in-law, or even your father, your mother, your cousin, your aunt, or your uncle. It's not about you. And then you may be asking, Meimei, help me. That's happening to me every day. What do I do? You're ready? We're going to read again. She gives us the touch of light. The enlightening touch, she says. When you find yourself in front of such desolate beings, so people who are not happy, people who are going through a tough time, make an effort to conceal their distress. Do not open their wound with unnecessary questions or remarks. But isn't that what we do? We see people like, no, I'm a good friend, and you go there and you're like, ding, ding. When you have a wound, leave it alone. Don't touch it. Unless medically prescribed, right? Otherwise, leave it alone. Don't be the savior, the helper, because you'll be in trouble. We'll be in trouble. You think, but it's my husband. Let's imagine that your husband or your wife is one of these cases. Conflicted, pessimistic, tribulated, or not mindful. And you go there like, what's happening? And then you know a third world war may happen right there. Because people don't want to talk about it. Even children. Sometimes we parents are brutal. They don't want to talk about it. Then we go there and we talk about because we want to clarify, make it transparent, and no. We need to give people space. If they want, if we find a way, we'll come to it. I'll give an example. If you go through the book Boa Nova, Good News by Humberto de Campos, you are going to observe, we are going to observe, that in the many scenarios, for example, he observed that Peter was distraught because the younger disciples were bragging about their youthfulness. We are going to be the ones who are going to carry the torch of the Christ. You, Peter, you can't because you're old. You have your family. We're freer than you. Crazy, huh? And then Peter was it's the chapter that talks about young and old. So Peter was like wounded. Jesus observed, but he waited for the right time to talk with Peter. He did then, and it worked. The same happened to Bartholomew. He was sad, melancholic, and then Jesus came across at the right time. Not precisely right away, but he found a way when Bartholomew was open. So, what do? First of all, do not open the wounds of the person with questions, remarks. Listen to their confidences and zip it up, she says. Silence. You see, we don't know. Did you know when we have this urge to talk and to talk and to talk with people unrelentlessly, we're vampirizing. Even when we are close to people, we want them to talk, because we need to fill the void. We're vampirizing energetically that person. We need to be very careful. There is a book named Celestial Prophecy, right? It's in English. It came across as a movie. There is a part of the book that talks about that. When we vampirize the energies of others through relentless conversations. We need to do what Thich Nhat Hanh has been proposing to us, which comes from Jesus as well. Be silent. Just be. Be. But I need to talk to the person so the person knows that I care. No. You have your whole body language to express it. And she's going to tell us about this. Silence. When you cannot give a phrase of comfort and hope. Comfort and hope is not like Yeah, I know what you're feeling because you know what happened to me 10 years ago. No, that's not comfort. That's not hope. Hope and comfort is when we say, I think if God is seriously, is allowing you to go through this, it's because God believes in you, because you're strong. That's hope. That's comfort. And whatever type of trials they face, offer them a gesture of friendship and understanding. Understand deeply. Not like many. They listen to the stories and then they go like, see, yeah, see what happened? I knew it. I knew it. That's not even charitable. It's even mean. It's mean, as children say. It's mean to listen to people's problems and then feel like you know better than God or you know everything. We don't. They're going through, we don't know. We just say, man, if I were in their shoes, I would like someone to pray for me. So let me pray. And then she finalizes, adding the blessing of a smile. Mamma mia. Mamma mia. I cannot believe it. Sorry, but it's phenomenal. Why we're saying this? I smile is, I would say, the other day I was watching how planes, Greg Palma, our friend from Cardiac Radio, he published a post, and I believe it's true, of airplanes, special ones, right? The Air Force ones that are able to cross the sound barrier and how it shows in the picture. So it's so interesting because I smile is like this, is a breakthrough in our relationships. It is. Can you visualize Jesus smiling? Many people think of Jesus and see somebody who is serious and stern, and I don't think so. The whole literature in Spiritism shows otherwise. He was a smiling master. Meimei is a great disciple of his. She finalizes this book talking about God awaits by reminding all of us that we need to silence like God and smile. Don't you think God is daily smiling to you? You wake up and you're breathing, even if you're discarnated. You're breathing and you exist and you can do stuff. You think. And then you go around, you see nature, always there. Today I was telling our friends here at the SSVA Educators Group, I was doing a walk in nature. And then suddenly this cute bird stopped right in front of my pathway, or his pathway, right? And I was coming across. And I looked at him. It's as if he was looking at me. And I smiled. I said, what are you doing here? And then I saw him flying nearby, catching a little worm, and then coming back in front of me. And I kept admiring that bird. And I was like, but you must be a provider. Where's your nest? I was actually talking to the bird. And I said, where's your nest? And then I heard some chirping. And then he flew. It's nature smiling at us. It's nature telling us that God provides always As I was telling friends today, I observed that he was not in distress thinking, oh my gosh, when am I gonna get the next worm? How am I going to be able to do this? What if a storm comes? He was cool, easy, natural. And this is us, you and I, we're nature too, learning how to be in that position and smile. So she gives us a tip: listen, silence, and smile. 3 steps, huh? Listen, silence, and I would say silence from within, understanding, and saying God is taking care of this person. I'm sure I don't need to rescue anyone. I don't need to be the savior. And then smile. What kind of smile? I smile of understanding. The blessing of a smile. Yesterday she said, keep on blessing. And now she adds, bless with a smile. That's it. If the president of your country is tweeting like crazy, doing crazy things, visualize yourself in front of him or her. Listen, silence. Do not post things against, and smile. Because we don't know what happens to their mind. Pessimistic, conflicted, in relentless tribulations, despair. One of them must be on our side: compassion, kindness, understanding, as we would like to be treated. So it's a practice. I don't know either. I'm learning as you're learning, but that's a beautiful practice, right? And that's why Meimei reminds us the blessing of a smile as a touch of light, as if you're touching the person with light, smiling. And it says, smile. I have the lyrics here, of course, I don't have it by heart. Though your heart is aching, smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile, and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face in gladness, hide every trace of sadness, although a tear may be ever so near. That's the time you must keep on trying. Smile. What's the use of crying if it's not of joy? You find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. You may cry to Jesus, it's okay, but then we smile. Smile, blessing, the blessing of a smile, spreading light, the touch of light. Would like to raise our thoughts to Meimei for her kindness, for Chico Xavier, for his ceaseless work, and for the honor of being together. Thank you, God. You've been awaiting us, always smiling to us, and finally we are learning that as your co-creators, we're also supposed to do the same to others. Please help us. Turn up our wisdom as we listen, understand, silence, and bless with a smile that you've granted us with. May we literally keep on trying, and one day we'll see the sun come shining through in our hearts, in our lives. Thank you, God. And so be it. May God not await us any longer, because we got it, right? So thank you, Justina. Thank you, Adele. Thank you, Sunshine. Thank you, Gabriel Inácio. Thank you, Daisy. Thank you, Silvio Otero. Thank you, Alicia Ramos. Thank you, Sol Souza. Anne Mércia. Thank you. Thank you, Mônica Medeiros. Thank you, Nora Brasil. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for this beautiful translation, Nora. Silmara, thank you, Silmara. Thank you, Tereza Castro. Tissa Silva, thank you, Valéria Benfica. Thank you, my dear sister Karina Alice. Thank you, John Da Rosa. Thank you, Raquel Bakeshi. Thank you, my dear friends, Carol Correia and Luni Coliello. Friends, God is awaiting us. Let us show to Him that He no longer needs to await, because now we know. In the next 24 hours and always, let us bless with a smile and spread the touch of light. We are preparing the next study. You see the announcement. Thank you very much. Thank you deeply and very, very much. And until the next one, God willing, here at Kardec Radio, always nourishing our souls. Thank you, friends.